What's up, everybody? I'm Ness and Eagleland. You're listening to the first episode of What Bursts My Smash Balls, a podcast dedicated to how much I hate the new Smash Brothers game. This is all genuine. I don't do this for shock value, and hopefully hearing me talk one-on-one with somebody will help you understand why I feel the way I do. And if it doesn't, whatever, go fuck yourself. Anyway, let's do this episode. There's a lot of topics that I wouldn't mind discussing right now, but for the sake of keeping it under about 30 minutes, we'll just focus on one, maybe two. So, we're going to go with the most recent topic, the most recent news that has come out this week, which is that Ike is coming back. Now, I don't know if you didn't really use Ike all that much.
No, he's too slow.
Yeah, he is pretty slow. But as far as the heavy characters go, he is one of the best. I actually won... I don't even gonna mention that. But I was gonna say, that's how I won the local tournament before the game came out.
I remember.
Yeah. I used Ike for that, and it worked out pretty well. But this is just one of those characters that I feel like is unnecessary to come back for this new game. The big reason is because if you put so many of the old characters in this new game, the roster for Brawl is already so large. So it's like, to reprogram all these characters, to reskin them, give the graphical updates and all that takes time and effort. And I feel like that time and effort should be allocated to new and exciting characters. And Ike just falls under one of those characters that I felt like could have used the axe. Because you got Chrom from Fire Emblem Awakening. I know you didn't play it.
No.
But it's just, he's another blue-haired swordsman like Ike and Marth. And I almost guarantee he's going to be in this game. So it just seems ridiculous to me that if we have Marth and we have Ike, and we're probably going to have Chrom, we're going to have three blue-haired guys running around with swords.
Uh-huh.
It's not necessary, you know?
Okay. Well, I can see it from that angle, because, I didn't really see Roy as being necessary.
Yeah.
If you already had Marth. Obviously Roy is heavier and a little bit stronger, but... no one really used Roy over Marth because Marth was considered so much better.
And that's another thing too, is Marth is going to be the consistent. He's always going to be in all future sequels of Smash Brothers. I can accept that. And the way it's been going, the pattern has been Roy was the new character of Fire Emblem during Melee, so we got Roy. And then in the next game, Ike was the newest lord of the Fire Emblem series, so we got Ike. So the pattern should have been that Ike got the cut this time and Chrom is in his place.
Uh-huh.
And I think the only reason I can think of, besides appeasing the people that learned to like Ike because he was in Brawl, that Sakurai would put him back in, is just that he's trying to betray our expectations. It's like, with Brawl it makes so much sense. It's like, when you look at the roster, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. So he put Ike in because... he's the new character of this game. This time around, it's like, okay, well, remember when we were making sense of taking out Roy and putting in Ike? Well, throw that out the window. Here's Ike. He's back. I bet you weren't expecting that.
I guess so, but I guess, I don't know. It seems silly that, because I feel like they're probably just putting Ike in just to have another character in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And as opposed to just having, like you said, something new, but at the same time, it's like, how many more characters can they possibly tap to put into the Smash Brothers roster? Think about other fighting games, like Marvel vs. Capcom or something like that. Like, that has how many iterations of Marvel vs. Capcom are there? How many iterations of Street Fighter are there? Now, granted, Street Fighter makes up its own characters, but Marvel vs. Capcom only, they have a set list of characters to choose from until Marvel or Capcom comes up with new franchises. You know what I mean? So you have Marvel, who's they're gonna put in Iron Man and Captain America, every single time. You know what I mean?
Well, Iron Man actually wasn't in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I see what you're pointing
out. Yeah, and so, and then half the characters that they're putting in now aren't even truly Nintendo characters. They've appeared on Nintendo systems, but they're not Nintendo characters. In the original Super Smash Brothers for N64, they were all Nintendo characters. Every single one of them, because Pokemon's a Nintendo franchise.
I see what you're saying, though. It's like they're kind of drying out the well.
Yeah, because there's only so many Nintendo franchises. You know what I mean? That are good Nintendo franchises. Come on, they put the Wii Fit Trainer in. The Wii Fit Trainer.
I'm not happy about that.
Like, that's not even a fucking game. That's not even a game. There's no reason. That's not a beloved franchise. Like, that was a brand new, like, game that they decided to come up with Peripheral. I know this is kind of getting off topic a little bit, but at the same time it's still on topic. And they put Wii Fit Trainer into the game. Why? That's not necessary. It's not even, no one liked Wii Fit. Like, you know who liked Wii Fit? Old people. Do you know who's not going to be playing Super Smash Brothers? Old people.
That's exactly what I've been saying. It's like, who does this appeal to? Is this supposed to appeal to, like, the 40-year-old mothers that decided to pick this up because they wanted to lose some hip weight?
Yeah.
Lose some thigh weight? Like, there's no point in putting in the Wii Fit Trainer other than, whoa, what the fuck? Yeah. Time to troll you with the Wii Fit Trainer.
Yeah, pretty much. They put it in as a troll character. The same reason that Street Fighter put in the big guy there.
Rufus?
Rufus.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how they're like polar opposites. Rufus like the big bad.
No, I know, but they put him in as the person that no one wants to play as, but there's going to be that one troll who decides, I'm going to play as this person, and I'm going to beat you with this person.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm sure the Wii Fit Trainer is also super overpowered.
But so even with that argument, though, you have Chrom, you know?
Okay.
Chrom is able to take the place of Ike. So there's just no... I understand that maybe, like, okay, you know, we're running out of ideas here. We're going to just bring back mostly everybody.
Yeah.
But if you're really big into Nintendo, there is a whole bunch of new characters and some old ones that got left behind.
Yeah.
Like King K. Rool.
Okay. They should have put him in there, because they usually have the hero and the villain of most of the series, at least.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like every franchise, if there's a viable villain, they should be in the roster.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that's going to be hard with that is probably Metroid.
Well, a lot of people want Ridley, though.
Yeah, but Ridley's a giant fucking space pirate alien, you know what I mean? Like,
it would still be so cool. I mean, like...
He's huge, though. He's not... You couldn't have him...
He wasn't always huge. Like, if you played the original Metroid, which nobody did, all the way through, he was, like, the same height as Samus. I'm sure that was just due to technical limitations.
Yeah, but you know which Ridley that they're going to use is the one from the Metroid Prime series.
Yeah, actually,
he was a fucking dragon.
They already, if you, like, look, they teased Ridley in the Nintendo Direct, and you can see the tip of one of his wings, and because you could see the tip of his wing, you could tell that he was from Other M.
Okay.
Which is silly, but it really is truly, like, there's only one design that has that way. So, Other M Ridley is going to be in the game, but they teased it, so we don't know if he's going to be playable, or if he's going to be a boss. And they they did it in a way that is supposed to allude to the idea that he's going to be a boss character in the stage.
Yeah.
But his wording is also loose, so it's like there's going to be other boss characters appearing in Smash Brothers as well.
Yeah, does that mean like other characters to fight in like as a boss, or does that mean other boss characters like that you can play as?
Exactly. Honestly, I'm on the side that thinks that Ridley's going to end up being playable. I mean, I have like a whole list of reasons why, but that's not even the topic of discussion right now. But yeah, and it's just like, you know, with Ike. He, like I said, he's just one of those characters, and it just grinds my gears more and more when I see these characters that, in my head, I thought, okay, they could have easily swapped out this character with someone either more relevant or just someone different, you know? Like you swapped out Mewtwo for Lucario, so then why is Lucario back? There's no point. Like, you could have brought back Mewtwo, like, that would have been a 5-year retirement, or maybe 8-year retirement, that just, like, you know, carried over. It's like, okay, we played the crap out of Lucario in Brawl. Either give us Mewtwo back, or give us a different character. And it only annoys me further that they brought back Lucario, but they also added Greninja. So it's just like, okay, so now we get another 6 Pokemon, which was ridiculous in Brawl. That's not one of the things that I would defend the game for.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the cool characters that it looks like they took away is Pokemon Trainer. Yes. I thought Pokemon Trainer was cool, and I think if they're going to put Pokemon in, the way they should do it is as Pokemon Trainer. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be standalone Pokemon. Like, you shouldn't get to choose Pikachu or Jigglypuff or Charizard. If they want to put Pokemon in, it should be via Pokemon Trainer, and you can pick Sure, let them pick 3 Pokemon to switch out, but they obviously have limited sets of moves.
Yeah.
And
The structure of the game now is that there's no character changing in mid battle.
yeah,
They're allocated to their own separate roster spot. But with Pokemon Trainer, it could have just been like, okay, choose your Pokemon, and he'll throw it out. Or you know what? You can make like a dip switch rule. So it's like, okay, can Pokemon Trainer have like up to 3 Pokemon? And if he can have 3 Pokemon, which Pokemon will it be? Will it be Pikachu, Lucario, and Jigglypuff, or will it be Charizard, Greninja, and Squirtle, or something like that?
Yeah.
You know. And I understand that, like, for online play, you shouldn't be able to have that option, but for local play, that would have been really cool. And yeah, that really pissed me off too. Is I love the concept of Pokemon Trainer. It's like, okay, you have 6 Pokemon in Brawl, but it's okay because you wanted to explore the concept of Pokemon Trainer, and that was a success. I enjoyed that a lot. But at the same time, you shouldn't have had Lucario in the game because you had Pokemon Trainer.
yeah. Well, then they also had Pikachu and Jigglypuff on the side.
Yes, and you know, people are going to argue like, well, they're part of the original 14, and how can you get rid of Pikachu? I wouldn't say get rid of Pikachu. I would definitely say make him part of the Pokemon Trainer roster.
Yeah, I think Pikachu, again off topic, I think Pikachu is a fine addition to the Smash Brothers like series.
Yeah.
But that's only because he was kind of the main Pokemon in the cartoon series.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, what everyone kind of was all about when the first Smash Brothers came out. And for some reason they decided to put Jigglypuff in. I can't figure out why, because she literally showed up in, 3 episodes? And she was just, like, there.
Yeah.
And, like, put people to sleep and then left.
Yeah, people are saying, like, well, she's really popular in Japan. I call bullshit on that, because if she was that popular in Japan, she'd still be in the anime today, which she's not. Like, I mean, I don't really watch the show anymore, but I've done a little bit of research on against my will, and found out that, you know, Jigglypuff just isn't in the show anymore.
Yeah.
She hasn't been in the show since the Johto League, I think.
Not that I have any idea what that means.
Who's in control of the show? Japanese people. And if they really wanted to exploit what fans want out of the show, Jigglypuff would still be in it.
Yeah.
You know? So it's total bullshit. And you know who should have been the second Pokemon character all this time, and he's not in this one for some retarded reason, Meowth. Like, Meowth, it makes so much sense to be the second Pokemon because he's a constant in every single episode. And he's always delegated to being a fucking Pokeball Pokemon. It doesn't make... It's just... I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way Sakurai handles Pokemon in general, I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate how many Pokemon he puts in, and I hate which Pokemon he chooses to be playable.
Yeah, well, he chooses the cute ones that the little kids are gonna like who really don't seriously play the game. You know what I mean? They're like, ooh, hey, this is fun. And then you have, like, the hardcore players who are like, yeah, I want to be Lucario because he's, like, a wolf dog puppy fox thing that has psychic powers that can shoot Kamehameha balls, essentially.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking fanfiction.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so Goku went inside a Pokeball one day, he bred with a Pokemon, and
this is what came out.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Greninja, because what's kind of like the big, and when I say the big thing, obviously zombies come to mind, but I mean there's also what's the other thing? It's like it's ninjas and fucking pirates, and what's Greninja? He's a fucking Pokemon who's somehow a fucking ninja.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What? He's an animal. He can't be a ninja. That doesn't even make sense.
And you know what's disgusting? His scarf is his tongue.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's just gross. I don't want gross stuff in my Smash Brothers game. I'm just kidding.
If
I want a big-tongued monster in my game, I'd stick with Flicky Tongue. I'm just messing around.
But yeah, so I mean, he obviously makes. I don't know. I don't even know how he makes his decisions. Like, obviously, Greninja must be like a popular Pokemon right now in the Pokemon
I'll
series.
tell you how he makes his decisions. He just thinks to himself, "What is the character that no one's guessing or anyone's wanting right now?" It's like, I want to completely just like shock and awe these people, and that's how we ended up with Wii Fit Trainer. That's how we ended up with Greninja, and to a lesser extent, that's how we ended up with Little Mac, because, like, in Japan, they don't give a shit about him.
Yeah.
You know, he's, like, an obvious choice to us, but if you look at, like, the comments when the trailer was announced for Little Mac,
yeah,
all the Japanese people are just like, who is this guy? Or, oh, yeah, I heard he's really popular in the West.
Yeah.
So, again, it's just, like, it's a choice that Sakurai was like, okay, well, Little Mac was made in Japan, so he's okay. He can make the cut. I don't care if, like, you know, no one in Japan likes him, but we'll throw him in. I mean, don't get me wrong about Little Mac. He's one of my favorite additions. Yeah. Like, I'm so happy that he got in. But I guarantee you that the only reason he got in was because Sakurai is trying really, really hard to, like, just make a roster that we can't predict.
Right.
You know? And it's suffering for it, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, we're not getting the game that we want because you want to shock us. Thanks.
So, who did they get rid of between Brawl and...
This new one?
This one, yeah.
They didn't really get rid of anybody yet. I mean, we can't really know for sure.
No, I know, but like...
Okay. But it's pretty safe to say at this point that Squirtle and Ivysaur are gone.
Well, that was Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah, exactly. And so Charizard is a standalone character, which, by the way, also pisses me off. It's like, if you're going to get rid of Pokemon Trainer, don't throw salt on our wounds. Like, if I'm a Squirtle fan, you're just pissing me off when you're like, well, Charizard's cool enough to stick around, but, hey, did you start off with Bulbasaur? Fuck you. You know? It's just, I mean, like, again, it would be really weird to have a roster where you can see Ivysaur as a playable character, like, and you select Ivysaur, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, so you can't do Pokemon Trainer anymore. Retire Charizard. Like, it's just an insult to anyone who liked the other characters at this point.
Yeah. It seems like the real argument here is that we just really hate the fucking Pokemon editions.
Yeah, we can't even get back on track with Ike. Well, I mean, we've pretty much said everything that needs to be said about Ike. I mean, like, we could just get your final thoughts on...
Well, I think...
Because I ranted, but I never heard your side.
I think that, I mean, them adding characters and keeping older characters, I don't really see that as a big deal. Because, I mean, you know, a bigger roster means that you have more selections, and the more selections you have means the more possible fights that you can have with different people, and, like, the more possible outcomes that you can have. The only thing I don't like about reoccurring characters and then them adding new characters is that they always have the clone characters. And like you said, if they decide to put Chrom in, and as well as Ike, how much do you want to bet that Chrom is just going to be pretty much exactly like Ike? Probably pretty strong. It's the same thing when they put Ganondorf in. You're like, oh no, they put Ganondorf in? How awesome is this going to be? And then he turns out to be a slower version of Captain Falcon, and you're like, seriously? Where's this, like, what? He can, like, Ganondorf's this awesome fucking sorcerer. He's a motherfucking sorcerer. And he fights like Captain Falcon. That doesn't even make sense.
Show me your moves.
Like, I mean, when does he do any of those moves in the game? No, what does he do? He floats around, and he fires fucking energy balls at you. He doesn't do that in the game. Mm-hmm. He's a melee attacker, and he has a sword, and they didn't put that in. And
that was a tease.
They honestly, if they were gonna do anything, they should have made him a fucking Zelda clone. If they were gonna do anything, I know Zelda was new to the franchise, but they should have made they should have made him a fucking Samus clone. No, wait, they should have made him a Mewtwo clone. No, wait, they should have just made him a Jigglypuff clone.
He clearly should have been a Link clone.
Yeah,
and Toon Link should have been a Zelda clone. No, I totally agree. I mean, like, you know, clone characters have always been kind of shitty. And honest to God, if they don't do anything about Ganondorf in this one, it's just a fucking insult at this point. Like, there's nobody out there. I don't know why he thinks there is, because there isn't. There's not a single person out there that's just like, oh no, if they ever change Ganondorf to be a completely different moveset, I don't know where I'd be. Like, he's my main. Like, granted, there's people that use Ganondorf as a main character, but I don't think anybody would be that heartbroken over the idea of him being a new moveset, you know?
I don't think anyone would be heartbroken to have their main character not be a clone of someone else.
Right.
I'm all for keeping old characters. Like, I think Ike is fine. Like, Ike was a cool character. If you want to keep him, great.
See, I just disagree because, I mean, like, I think I've already hammered it in at this point, but to reiterate, it's just, you know, let's just put out this theory, okay? That you get your Ike, you get your Toon Link, you get your Luigi, you get Yoshi, you know, you get pretty much everybody that you come to expect in Brawl, almost, except for, like, maybe, like, a modest amount of cuts, like in Melee. And then you've come to find out that pretty much all that they've announced so far, on top of maybe, like, Pac-Man and, like, Shulk or something, that's all you get as far as new characters go. Now, when you go and play that game, are you really going to be like, oh, man, this is exactly what I wanted. You know, you're gonna be playing it for like a month tops, and like you're gonna be like, all right, well, this just feels like Brawl. You know, and actually, it's gonna be like a stripped down version of Brawl because you know you're gonna have no story mode in this one.
Okay, but was the story mode really?
Well, all right. Frickin' people on the internet will make this argument too, is that it wasn't that good, right?
Yeah.
That's fair to say. That's fair to say. Okay, I mean, like you got every right to say that it wasn't that great, but that just means that it had room to improve, not be taken away entirely.
Okay.
You know, that's the way I feel about it. Is that you could have it was a good concept and it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
But it could have been better, and that's what sequels are supposed to do, is just get better.
Right.
You know, you're not supposed to be like, well, you know, Mario wasn't that great in Melee, so you're gone. You know? Oh, well, Link, he has too many projectiles. You're gone. You know? That's just not how it works. You make them better so that in the next game...
Only with Link they keep making him worse for some reason. I
don't know
why.
I can't figure that out either.
It's like he was so good in the first... He was so good in the N64 version. Mm. And then... Did they introduce the Gale Boomerang in Melee?
No, that's Brawl.
That is Brawl?
Yeah.
What did he do in Melee? Was he pretty much the same, just slower?
Yeah, pretty much. His recovery was just a little bit worse. His up B was way stronger in the original game. Yeah, and that was like a big thing.
Well,
I think another thing too is we got better over time. So Link, it just became less viable because he's just so hulky and he just does projectiles.
I mean, you showed me the Nintendo Direct thing, and they showed Link, and he still fucking has the Gale Boomerang.
Yeah.
What it better do in this one is it better keep them at a fucking... what it better do is you throw it, and it actually stops, and freezes them if they get stuck in it, like in a little mini whirlwind for a second to kind of throw them off a little bit, and that way you can pummel them with a bomb or an arrow or something like that, or maybe have the Gale Boomerang shoot up, like throw them up in the air a little bit, you know what I mean, and then bring them down on the ground or something like that. Yep. Like something to actually keep them at a distance so that Link can use his ranged weapons, his other ranged weapons, the bow and the bombs, and like honestly he should probably have... I don't know. I kind of wish like his hook shot was better. You know what I mean? Because like
it is going to be better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to have much longer distance than it did, so you can recover easier with it.
Yeah. Because that was like he has like Link's supposed to be all about his tools and stuff like that, and it looks like they put the fucking beetle in, which
as an item, not his attacker.
Oh, not his actual attack item. Alright, because I saw that and I was like, fuck that, because. I liked Skyward Sword for the story and stuff like that. But all the items aside from the double claw shot there, which was actually introduced in Skyward Sword, were pretty bad. It was just he needs to be
cool again.
It's not even that he needs to be cool. He needs to be. I don't sure if they're gonna make him a strong character. It's
they
fine
need to make him competitive.
Yeah, it's fine if they want to make him a slower character because he's a bit stronger. Like that's the common trade-off: speed for power, power for speed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the usual trade-off. You have to make his weapons a viable option for him to use. Like he has a shield, and you know how cool it would be if he shield bashed you to like throw you off your guard when you were close, and then pummeled you with a sword. That would be awesome. But he doesn't use his shield for anything other than stand there. It's just in front of him the whole time. And sure, it'll block projectiles. But really? Do you really need it to block projectiles? You know, it'd be cool if you fucking punch someone in the face with it and then stabbed him in the neck. That would be awesome.
So, like in your version of Smash Brothers, you would be able to physically impale people.
Well, no. But you know what I'm trying to say. There's no reason to have his bow. Like, if you're gonna give him a bow, let him move with his bow. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Let him move around. Be like, all right, I have the bow. And I have it ready, but let him jump and move backwards and actually move forwards and stuff like that with his bow ready to shoot. Like you just go boom, you let it go, and that's it. And then you proceed on with what you're gonna do. Like you throw your bow up and you land on the ground, and then you decide to run. Like keep it almost like, I know it doesn't make any sense to have it because it's a bow, but keep it like a charge shot, kind of like Samus's charge shot or something like that. Like I know that doesn't make any sense, but because it's a bow, you have to hold it back. And you can't just keep it and do
But
other
it's a video
things.
game.
Yeah, it's a video game. There's no reason to be realistic with it.
Okay, so there's this leak on the internet. It's not really confirmed to be true, but this guy has a great track record. It's called the Gematsu Leak.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know what your feelings are on it. I personally, if it becomes true, this is going to be the worst roster for Smash Brothers ever. I mean, like, the worst expansion to the roster. Because obviously you got, like, all these great characters already, but as far as new characters go and who made it back, I think it's, like, the worst in history of the series. So, the characters, and I'll just include the ones that are already announced, because I know you're not, like, keeping up with the news as I am.
Right.
So, basically, you get pretty much all the new all the old characters, okay? And then you get the Wii Fit Trainer, the Villager from Animal Crossing.
Oh, which I also think is stupid, but keep going.
I like the Villager, but that's irrelevant. Anyway, Little Mac, Greninja, Rosalina.
Rosalina's the one from Mario Galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which...
keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Mega Man?
Mega Man. Wow. Yeah, the best one of the bunch.
Yeah. Well, Little Mac looks awesome. I'm not gonna deny that.
Alright, to get off topic for one quick second, freaking Mega Man is the coolest idea, and I love that his moveset has like all the nods to past games.
Yeah.
But Little Mac looks like the most likely one that I'll be playing competitively with.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I think Mega Man's gonna be awesome. I think Mega Man's a little like Sonic, where it's like, man, it's finally happened. He's finally in the game. You know what I mean? But then Sonic kind of turned out to not be that great.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
I think Mega Man would be. I like that they took moves from the old games. I think it would have been a little. I think it would also be really cool if they let him take the powers. I know it's kind of Kirby-esque, but it would be cool if he could take the powers of some of the other combatants in the game. Because, I mean, obviously they're not other robot masters or anything like that, and, it doesn't make any sense. But again, video game doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, but anyway, okay. So, on top of the characters already announced, this Gematsu Leak is trying to say that the chorus men from Rhythm Heaven is going to be a playable character. The three of them. That's probably the biggest shocker of the bunch. Shulk from Xeno's... What is it, Xenosaga?
Yeah. Xenoblade.
Xenoblade, yeah. Shulk.
He's the main character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chrom from Fire Emblem Awakening.
I can see them putting a character from Xenoblade in there. I can see it because they're
just so they just have a natural fit into the series. But again, it's another fucking anime character with a sword.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So if this whole roster becomes a reality, it's just kind of like, okay.
And then it opens a way for the next Smash Brothers for them to add more characters from Xenoblade, which they'll probably add his best friend or the girl or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then the last two, and I really think there's only two left: Pac-Man.
Okay.
And the Me.
What Me? Which Me?
The character Me.
Right.
Not Me.
No, I know. No, I know the Wii Me's. I know that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But which one?
There's no way to really know for sure, but my guess would be it would just be okay, you pick the Me, and then you go through the color options, and the color options pick through all the Me's that you have in your system.
Oh, you think so?
I mean, that's the only way that it would make sense. It would be stupid if, you selected the Me and it randomly generated the face, because then you're not really picking the Me that you want, you're just picking the entity of Me.
Yeah, you're picking the essence of Me.
Yeah, which would be stupid. I mean, the idea itself is stupid.
Well, that's having the Me in there is the same thing as having the Wii Fit Trainer and the Villager from Animal Crossing. Sure, the Villager from Animal Crossing, kind of cool, I guess, because Animal Crossing, I guess, is kind of a big game. I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't.
It is definitely. Their game sold a ton.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't do anything for me, entertainment-wise. It didn't hold my interest. You know who would have been a better character?
Who?
KK Slider.
He would have been really cool.
I think that would have been better than having a villager that, just some random villager. Actually having a character, or having Tom Nook in it, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I honestly, as a fan of the series, I would have preferred any of them. I would have gone with Mr. Rossetti. He would have been really cool. I don't know what he would do, and I know it would piss off a lot of people. He wouldn't be officially in my roster, but if he was in the game, I'd be cool with it.
It's kind of okay, let's...
But see, with the Villager, he's another one. It's just all those characters are fine with me.
Yeah.
The only way it could have been worse is if they picked some really obscure character, like Cap'n or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's this, think about it, if they decided to make a Mario game. Mm-hmm. And, Mario's in it, Luigi's in it, Toad is in it. Which, why the hell isn't Toad a playable fucking character in Super Smash Bros? Yeah.
Yes!
Anyways,
a lot of people would disagree with us, but...
I'm not... That's not the point I'm trying to make. But let's pretend that they made a Mario game, but they let you customize your character. You can put yourself in a Mario game, and you can be the person who jumps around, and that customizable character is who they decided to put in Super Smash Bros. Instead of Toad. That's what putting the villager into the game is like to me. It's like, why wouldn't you take a known character from the game? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you take KK Slider or Tom Nook, like an actual face for the game, not some customizable face that the player plays as?
Yeah, you feel like the villager's like your avatar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't pick an avatar. Pick a face. Pick a mascot. You know what I mean? It's like, in this case, I think KK Slider and or Tom Nook probably would have been the best choice.
Yeah, I could see that, but at the same time, I do feel like, you know, Smash Bros. I made the villager his own. You know, like the way he's set up and the way his moveset is, you're starting to realize that the villager, while an avatar in the game of Animal Crossing, has so many like traits and like things that are special to him that would only work if he was the character that you were playing as. You know, like using the axe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I do approve of. I was just excited to have any Animal Crossing representation at that point. You know, I didn't even think, oh, duh, he's like an avatar. What a dumb choice. But man, once they announce me, that's when it's gonna be like, what the fuck? You know, you're gonna hear me talk about it for sure.
Yeah, I don't think, and I don't think the singing trio from
the chorus men.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't like that. I honestly don't see how they're going to execute that if that is true. I know it's just a rumor, but I don't think it can be executed well at all if they decide to do that. And
Ice Climbers. I mean, who would have ever thought they would be a viable character? You know.
Well, I think the Ice Climbers worked out really good.
They worked out real good. But if you played their source game before Melee came out, and you were like, hey, by the way, I heard that Ice Climbers is going to be playable in the next Smash Brothers, you'd be like, no, fuck you. That's like the worst idea ever. You know, it works.
I'd like to see Bubble Bobble in it.
That would be so cool, but that's a third-party character, and
yeah, you know how many third-party fucking characters they have in this game now? 2.
They don't have Snake, and it's just Sonic and Mega Man.
But they've put third-party characters in before, and Pac-Man's not a Nintendo character.
He's not announced yet. I mean, he's like, you don't even have to like believe in the leaks. You can just assume that he's going to be in it because Namco's working on it. Yeah. But technically, it's not announced yet. So there's only 2 right now. But yeah, I would totally love Bubble Bobble in the game. Yeah. That would be so sick. He's definitely like a childhood. It would go with like the roster that we're going with right now, where we have so many classic characters. Actually, what the fuck am I saying? I wouldn't be complaining about the roster if it was all classic characters. But
I think the problem is that they can't do classic characters like that because the kids don't know those characters.
The kids just don't know it. They're gonna look at it and be like, "Which generation of Pokemon is that?"
Yeah, exactly. What I don't remember a bubble shooting dinosaur from Pokemon.
Yeah,
and it's like, Squirtle, I guess.
I bet you there's gonna be someone that's like, "Excuse me, by the way, it's Squirtle. Squirtle shoots. He has Bubble Beam. Go kill yourself."
In which case, I'll respond, "Yeah, well, they also made an ice cream cone Pokemon, so go fuck yourself." And. So, I mean, I guess they can't really put a lot of old classic characters in there.
They can by they have my permission.
I know. But the kids don't know who it is. And the reason they can put Little Mac in it is because they just released that Punch-Out game, what was it, 2 years ago or 3 years ago or something like that. So that's
exactly why
that's new. And then, I mean, obviously Mega Man, and Mega Man hasn't really been around, but then they just released Mega Man 9 and 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what was the Mega Man game before that? Oh, well, you know what? They have the Battle Network games, but the kids don't know the powers that the Mega Man's going to be using.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he has games for Mega Man 2, and there's no way kids have played that game.
If they played any of them, they played 2. That's the most popular one.
No. If kids these days have played any of them, they've played Mega Man Battle Network.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. And that's why his Final Smash is the way it is, because, like, you know, I've read the forums. You guys know me. And, like, I've fucking paid attention. There's plenty of people that are just like, oh, I wish Battle Network Mega Man was in the game. Oh, why didn't they go with X? It's like, because you don't understand how iconic Mega Man is. That's why. It's because you're retarded. You grew up with a Super Nintendo, so you think that Mega Man X is the best choice. He's not. He was fucking flavor of the month. Or flavor of the year, I guess.
Mega Man X lasted for a lot of it. What they got up to Mega Man X?
How many Mega Man X games did you own?
I only owned Mega Man X.
You know how many people would give you that same exact answer? It's like, it would be like, oh yeah, well, you know, there was Mega Man X2. Did you ever play it? Did you ever see it on a store shelf? No. So then Mega Man X is just like, he's really delegated to his first game. As much as, even though he has like 8 sequels, you know, the fan base got smaller and smaller as the games made more and more games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I hate this game so much, is like, there's so many, like, Rosalina. She has, like, I played Mario Galaxy, you know, I played the second one, and she is not that important to even in the game that she's in.
Yeah.
She's not that important. She's just like,
not like Peach was
a means to get the story going, but she doesn't play a huge role in the game.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like,
she's not important like Princess Peach was
exactly. She's like, oh, hey Mario, this is my world, check it out, run around and do shit.
Yeah,
and that's all she is for the rest of the game. She just like hangs out in the hub world. And yeah, they put her in like Mario Kart and stuff. That does not mean that she's like important enough to put in the new Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
game. You just flipped me off, by the way.
I didn't mean to.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest problems with Rosalina. It's like, okay, why don't...
Well, I mean, you know what? She's getting a start though, because I mean, maybe she'll show up in more Super Mario games. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
she did show up in 3D World, but she was a secret character.
Yeah, well, I mean,
entire game,
because Peach started off as a little pixelated thing. Like, I don't even think she had a name in the original Super Mario Brothers. Did she?
She did, yeah, because of
They just referred to her as the princess. The princess is in another.
No, if you had the instruction manual, it told
they actually
Princess Toadstool. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, and then they had the Mario cartoons and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So they had the Mario cartoons, and they had but I mean, they put her in like Mario Kart and stuff like that before Super Smash Bros. Came out. You know what I mean? She was in Super Mario Kart, and she was in Mario Kart 64. So I mean,
honestly,
had, like,
this is one of the things that pisses off a lot of people on the forums. I think that Princess Peach really doesn't have a place in Smash Brothers.
Really?
I don't. I feel like she's not a fighter. She's never been a fighter, and she just does not belong in the game as a fighter. Like, she maybe like have her as like a assist trophy, and she throws like cake or something. I don't know. But like, it just having her in Melee to begin with was just like, okay. I mean, why? I don't understand. Like, I understand that she's like, you know, the trifecta of the Mario games, but she doesn't fight. Like, it just seems silly to me. And I know that some people would argue Super Mario Brothers too. Nah, because most of the time she's just being rescued, you know?
Yeah.
If she was really that competent of a fighter, if she was able to take down Bowser in a one-on-one fight, she would have done it in the Mario games, you know? It seems silly to me. Yeah, like, again, it was a nice little novelty to have her in Melee. It was nice to see her come back in Brawl. But if they had cut her for this new game in favor of like Mike Jones from Star Tropics. Okay. I know that's a really obscure one, but he's like one of my favorite characters that does not get talked about in Nintendo at all.
Yeah.
I would have been totally fine. Like, especially if he outright said, you know, hey, actually this would probably piss off a ton of people, because like if it was a character that I liked, like Ness, it's just like, we cut Ness so that you could have Greninja. So there you go, you're welcome. I understand why you can't do that, but at the same time, it's like, if Ness really had nothing going for him for like all this time, like he finally got his game re-released.
Yeah.
So he's kind of relevant again, and he's the most popular character of the Earthbound franchise. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to have him come back. But even as a fan of Earthbound, if he just had that game in 1995, and like since then, there's been many games that have come out that have been better, and there's just characters that are more important. Mm-hmm. I would not care if Ness got the cut, because I can always go back to Brawl and play as Ness.
Yeah.
I can always go back to the original game if I wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, technically, they didn't really even need to bring Ness over from the N64 version of Super Smash Bros. Like, they could have cut him completely from Melee after that, like, after the N64.
I'm glad they didn't, but at the same time, if they did, especially
you couldn't really fault him for it, because, I mean, I didn't, like, when I played this first Super Smash Bros., you were all about Ness, like, and I was like, I don't really... Like, I didn't...
You tried it, you didn't like the game.
I never really played Earthbound. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. Instead of putting so many Pokemon in, it's like, why not put in characters from Super Mario RPG now that we're on the topic? It's like, come on, Mallow, Geno.
It's more on topic than fucking Earthbound. But yeah, a lot of people during Brawl, especially, were like, oh, I want Geno.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, Geno? I don't know, like, I mean, this was at the time, by the way, when we had the idea of, well, where's fucking Diddy Kong? Where's King K. Rool? these characters weren't announced yet, I would have liked Wolf. But there's like this group of people that are like, Geno, oh, Geno's got to be in. I can't wait for Geno. I hope Geno makes it. And now I really want Geno. It's kind of like you hyped him up so freaking much. I want to see him playable.
Yeah, Geno. See, the thing with Geno is like, or just Super Mario RPG in general is he wasn't in any of the other Super Smash Brothers. I mean any of the other Mario games. But I guess neither was Mallow or who else was
they were all. That was it as far as playable characters.
Well, they had Mario. They had Bowser.
The full roster is Mario, Bowser, Peach, Geno, Mallow.
No Luigi?
No.
I thought Luigi was in it.
There was no. Trust me, I looked high and low to make sure Luigi wasn't playable. He doesn't even. I don't even think
he's in the game.
Yeah, at all. Not even as a reference. Huh. Overall, what's your thoughts of this leaked roster? I mean, the new Smash Brothers.
Of the three, and of the three guys from Rhythm Heaven there?
Let's just say, like, suppose they are in, and this is the entire roster that you have to work with. Cuts being just Squirtle and Ivysaur, maybe Lucas, and Snake. Snake won't be in.
Well, yeah, but
that's the roster you're given.
I mean, they have so many characters that, if you don't want to play a character, don't play the fucking character, you know what I mean? Like, I think the problem is if they have so many characters, I swear to God, if there's any fucking clones, I'm gonna be pissed, because there's no reason to have clones of characters with the same moveset. There's no reason for that. That's one. If they can make each character their own character, I don't care. Like, they can do it. They can put whatever character they want. If they're cutting characters out, potential characters that they could be using, potentially better characters from Nintendo franchises, and they're putting in Wii Fit Trainer and the Mii's from the Miiverse and stuff like that, and the three guys from Rhythm Heaven, if they're cutting better characters out because they're putting those characters in, I don't get it.
You don't get it? Okay.
Yeah, like there's no reason. I don't think there's no reason for them to do that. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to keep Ike in, great. But if you're not going to put Chrom in from the new Fire Emblem, because you seem to be like all about Chrom, it's like if they don't put Chrom in, it's like, why would you keep Ike? You know what I mean? Like, take Ike out to put in Chrom.
Yeah,
like that's what you should do.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, with the whole situation with Ike, which was the original topic anyway, the one thing I forgot to mention is that his inclusion just makes two different realities that I don't want. Like, you either get Marth and Ike with no Chrom, and then at that point, it's exactly what you just said. It's just like, okay, you have Chrom on the sidelines here. Why do we have Ike back? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then reality B is also stupid and shitty, where it's just like, okay, you got Marth, who's a lord with a sword and blue hair.
Mm-hmm.
Ike, who is a lord with a sword and blue hair. And Chrom, who is a lord with a sword and blue hair.
He has blue hair? I thought he had, like, red hair.
Nope.
Like, reddish-brown hair.
Blue as fuck. It's the same color blue as Marth and Ike.
Oh, alright.
Yeah. The same hue.
I'd like to see him stick with Nintendo mascot characters. I know there's not a lot of them, but, like,
yeah, they kind of tapped out.
I think it would be cool if they actually shrunk the roster down from what, like, I think their scope is too large. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're trying too hard to get a bigger roster, so they're tapping characters like the Wii Fit Trainer, and like I think they're tapping a lot of characters that aren't characters. You know what I mean? They're not
icons.
They're not. Yeah, they're not icons. You're right. They're not icons. Like, they're not the mascots of Nintendo. Like, not really. Like, sure, you can say the Wii Fit Trainer is totally part of Nintendo now, but no one bought and played that game. Like, I can't tell. I used to work at Toys R Us, so did Derek. I can't tell you how many Wii Fitbit boards we sold right when it first came out, and how many got returned. I can't tell you how many Wii Fit boards I've seen at flea markets, Trader Joe's, at anywhere. Like, I can't tell you how many...
Go to GameStop. There's the GameStop where you live, in Raynham, there's just, like, 3 stacks that go up to, like, shoulder height of Wii Fit boards. No joke.
Yeah, and this was a thing that people wanted. Put in a character from a game
that represents that.
Yeah, that just no one's going to care about it.
Right.
Everyone's going to say, that's stupid, why would you do that? And I can guarantee you, I would like to hear, I would like people to email, like, after we post this, and you put up, like, an email, it's like, here's my email me with comments, or put comments on. Okay. I would like to see how many people say, I like the fact that they put the Wii Fit Trainer in.
You'd be surprised.
Not fucking sarcastically, and not trolling people, because I'll check. I'm going to be like, this person's trolling me. And I'm going to assume, I'm just going to assume, if you say, I'm glad they put the Wii Fit Trainer in, that you're just a douche.
Here's why I'm so bitter with the fan base that I have to deal with all the time. I mean, I like to discuss it, but this is what I have to deal with, is they're all apologists. Like, you know, they're in love with the idea that Sakurai has made all the Smash Brothers games. And so, like, the fact that he's making this one, and he's making so many bad decisions, you'd be surprised how many people are like, oh, you know what, I kind of like Wii Fit Trainer now. Oh, you know what, well, Greninja was a good idea because he represents the new generation. I mean, I never asked for him, I never predicted that he'd ever be in the roster, but he's cool.
No.
See, exactly. No, not at all.
No. If they're gonna put Pokemon in, and this is my last spiel on Pokemon, like, after this Pokemon rant, I'm done. On Pokemon. In Smash Brothers, is if you're gonna put Pokemon in, it has to be, you have to pick the 3 starter Pokemon. Like, you can't pick stupid Pokemon that you get later on in the game because they're cool.
Well, like, Greninja is a starter.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's the final evolution of the water type.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Sorry.
No way.
But yeah,
like from what Black and X and Y or
yeah,
Black,
X and Y.
Black and White.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
X and Y. But yeah.
I can understand it a little bit more. I'm a little bit better with that now, because Lucario he wasn't a starter Pokemon.
Yeah,
he was that cool Pokemon. You know, the cool Pokemon that everyone was like, I'm going to use this Pokemon because he's cool. That's why I'm going to use this Pokemon. And I don't agree with that. It's like, I don't use Kirby because he looks cool. You know what I mean? Like, Lucario is like the character that you use because look how cool he looks. He has a Kamehameha wave and shit like that. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. But it's like, but let's go back to Kirby. Let's look at him. Yeah. He's just a little pink ball of fluff, and I guarantee you he will fuck Lucario up in like any given day.
But yeah, that's unfortunately, like, you got like a whole lot of apologists, and I hope that they're listening to this, because you guys are fucking annoying the fuck out of me whenever, like for example, when Sakurai's like, oh, I took out story mode, suck it, bitches, and they're just like, I like the idea that they took out story mode because it was kind of boring.
Well, yeah, if you don't like the story mode, don't play the story mode. Like, some people do like the story mode. It's like, I'm gonna just flip over to Titanfall real quick. I know that you Nintendo people
gonna like, if anyone's listening at this point, they're gonna tune out right now.
Yeah, well, because it's Titanfall. Like, the big thing is everyone keeps giving it a bad score because the campaign is bad. Don't play the fucking campaign. It's a multiplayer-based game. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. It's like, don't give Call of Duty a bad score because the campaign sucks, because I'm going to let you know right now, Call of Duty, the campaign fucking blows. But, you know, it's like, you play it for the multiplayer.
I disagree. I totally disagree, because you're kind of like, you're defending what these people are saying. It's like, well, if it's not good, it shouldn't be in there anyway because it's a fighting game. No, not at all. Because if you look at Mortal Kombat, their story mode is fantastic.
Yeah.
And, like, we would have never achieved that if someone was, you know, in the development team and said, well, this is a fighting game, we don't really need to have a story mode, fuck it. Why are you wasting your time? Because it's not a waste of time. It's like, if you're a person who enjoys, if you're passionate about Smash Brothers, and you don't have 4 people to play with at the time, what are you going to do with yourself? Like,
you play with the computers. That's what you do. You play with level 9 computers. Like a real man.
Fuck that. I mean, like, that is something that you would do. It's like, it's one of the many things that you can do. But story mode is definitely, like, the biggest investment that you can put into it and feel like you're accomplishing something. Like, if you play, like, some level 9 computers, you're like, okay, I'm not really proving anything to anybody, but I'm playing the game. But with the story mode, you're making progress, you're rewarded with cutscenes, you know? And again, it wasn't the best. Like, it could have been better. And that's exactly what it should have been in this game.
It's not that it could have been better. It definitely should have been better. It definitely could have been better. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and that's fair to say. And anyone is allowed to make that argument. But the argument that it should be stricken from the series is stupid. Yeah. It's very stupid. It's like, you got introduced to something. This is a brand new feature, and if it wasn't perfect the first time, who's to say it couldn't have been this time?
Yeah,
you know?
It's like if they took out story mode to put in Greninja in Wii Fit Trainer. And it's like, we took out the story mode because we wanted to work on Wii Fit Trainer's moves.
That's pretty much what Sakurai is saying, and like that's why I feel like he needs to pass the torch to somebody, because he's clearly a madman at this point. That is my argument, is that he's a fucking madman. The way he decides big decisions in this game is not to appease fans, clearly. It's not to make a solid game anymore. It's to just shock people.
It's just to do something.
Yeah, it's just to cover your tracks, you know? I mean, with everything we just discussed, Wii Fit Trainer, fucking, if the Mii makes it in, Greninja. Who wanted Greninja? Nobody. Who wanted Wii Fit Trainer? Nobody. No one predicted it. No one said I wanted that character. He just put it in because who was going to guess it? Nobody.
Yeah.
You know? That's, I think we could end it on that note.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, what's your email, Trev, if you want people to message you about it?
I don't want people to email me, personally. But
okay.
I don't want spam mail. I'm not going to look at it. I'll delete it.
Alright, I'll tell you what. If
you put up comments on this, if you upload this, and just put a comment section on it, and I just want to see it.
Yeah. Alright, well, I mean, you can either comment on the video or the topic that I'm going to make to post the video. You can comment on that, and I'll make sure to send the link to Trevor so that he can check it out and see how fucking crazy you guys are. I'm sure you didn't like this episode. I'm sure you're never going to like any of the episodes following, but I hope that it kept you entertained. We'll be sure to be back the next time the Sakurai pisses me off. We're out.
You just waved to a microphone.
I did.